At 26 years old, my name is Ellie, and I find myself in a place I never imagined. My husband Liam, who is 27, and I have been married for 2 years. We first crossed paths in college. I was pursuing a degree in education, and he was working towards a law degree. Our connection was instantly deep, though not without its complexities, and after several years together, Liam proposed. Our wedding was a dream, and the initial phase of our marriage seemed perfect, filled with love, laughter, and mutual support. Liam's career as a lawyer took off at a prestigious law firm, and his dedication was something I always admired. However, over the last year, his job began to consume him. I initially brushed off his late nights and the weekends he spent at work, chalking it up to the demanding nature of his profession. To combat the growing distance between us, I planned a special vacation for our anniversary, hoping to reignite the spark in our relationship. Things took a turn about 3 months ago when Liam mentioned a new co-worker, Olivia, a young and ambitious lawyer. He praised her as a refreshing presence in the office, and they quickly became a dynamic team. At first, I didn't mind. Jealousy was foreign to me, and I trusted Liam completely. But soon, his work hours extended even further, and Olivia's name began popping up in our conversations more frequently. Liam's changes didn't stop at the office. He started dressing sharper, hitting the gym more often, and was constantly glued to his phone. I attempted to joke with him about his closeness with Olivia, but his dismissive laughter didn't ease my concerns. Our own relationship started to feel the strain. Our interactions turned mechanical, focusing solely on mundane details like bills and schedules, lacking any real emotional connection. This emotional chasm widened until Liam made an unexpected decision. He brought Olivia along on the trip we had planned for our anniversary, leaving me behind to care for my ailing mother. It was then I realised the depth of our issues. I could no longer ignore the reality of our crumbling marriage, prompting me to serve him divorce papers during what should have been a celebratory dinner. Now, as Liam faces the consequences of his choices, I'm grappling with the unexpected turns my life has taken. While I never envisioned this scenario for myself, here I am, navigating through the complexities of heartbreak and betrayal, yet hopeful for a future where I can find happiness again. I sensed that something was amiss, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was or how to address it. Each time I attempted to discuss my concerns with Liam, he dismissed them, assuring me that I was just being sensitive and that all was well. Despite wanting to trust his reassurances, I felt an unsettling change deep within. Enter Olivia, Liam's co-worker, whose vibrant personality seemingly made his days at work more pleasant. I noticed a certain expression on Liam's face whenever he spoke of Olivia, an expression that unsettled me, twisting my gut with worry. My unease only deepened when Liam cancelled our date night to attend a work function with her. When I brought up my suspicions, he brushed them off, claiming she was merely a colleague and accusing me of being paranoid. Driven by my doubts, yet hoping to mend our relationship, I planned a romantic getaway to the mountains for our upcoming anniversary. Just Liam and me, away from all distractions, including Olivia. It seemed like the perfect chance to reconnect. However, just as we were about to leave, I received devastating news. My mother had fallen seriously ill and was hospitalized. Heartbroken, I insisted Liam go on the trip without me while I cared for my mother. Reluctantly, he agreed. At first, Liam and I stayed in touch regularly through texts and video calls, but soon his responses grew brief and infrequent, which didn't sit well with me. Then, the bombshell dropped. A friend, also vacationing nearby, sent me a photo of Liam dining with Olivia at the very restaurant where we had planned to celebrate our anniversary. My heart shattered at the sight. He had chosen to spend our special trip with her. Since Liam returned, I have been tormented by indecision. Part of me wants to confront him and demand answers, possibly even end our marriage, while another part wonders if I'm just overreacting, though deep down I suspect there's no innocent explanation. Only my closest friend knows the full extent of my turmoil, and she's advising me to leave him. After days of wrestling with my emotions, I resolved to confront Liam. I rehearsed my words meticulously, bracing myself for any response, apologies, denials, or even attempts to convince me I was mistaken. The thought of this conversation haunts me as I prepare to face whatever may come. The anxiety was consuming me, and I couldn't wait any longer to address what was on my mind. I chose a quiet Saturday evening when we were both at home. I was determined to confront him in person, not allowing any chance for misunderstandings through text. As usual, he was absorbed in his phone on the sofa when I walked in and sat opposite him. "Liam, we need to talk," I said, my voice carrying a weight that made him look up in surprise. "What's up?" he asked, sensing the gravity in my tone. Taking a deep breath, I plunged into the heart of the matter. "I know about Olivia. I know you took her on our anniversary trip." For a moment, her face lost colour, and it looked like he might try to deny it, but then he sighed heavily and ran a hand through his hair. "Ellie, it's not what you think," he started. "Really? Because it seems pretty clear to me that you took your work wife on what was meant to be our romantic getaway." "Our anniversary trip," I countered. He shook his head, trying to explain. "It wasn't romantic. She was just having a tough time at work, and I thought it would be nice for her to get away." I was incredulous. "So, you decided to play the hero by taking her on our trip? Did you even consider how that would look or how it would make me feel?" "I didn't plan it like that," he defended himself weakly. "You told me to go. I didn't want to cancel, and it just happened." "Just happened? Did it also just happen that you were holding hands in the picture my friend sent me? Did that just happen too?" His silence told me everything I needed to know. He was caught, and he knew it. After our intense conversation, Liam left the house saying he needed time to think. That was fine by me. I needed space to strategize. Feeling betrayed, my anger grew as I reflected on the situation. I wasn't going to sit back and accept disrespect. If he preferred Olivia's company, he could have it, but I was not going to make things easy. The next morning, I called my lawyer. I hadn't told Liam yet, but I was preparing for the worst. I refused to be one of those women who sat around hoping their husband would magically change after such a blatant betrayal. I needed to protect myself. A few days later, I asked Liam to meet me for dinner at a nice restaurant, thinking a public setting might keep the conversation calm. He arrived looking apprehensive, likely bracing for another argument. I, however, was resolute and composed. Once we were seated and had ordered, I slid a manila envelope across the table to him. "Divorce papers, I saw," I stated plainly. "I've already spoken to a lawyer." Liam's face flushed a deep red. "Ellie, are you serious? You're going to throw away our marriage over one mistake?" "One mistake?" I almost laughed. "You've been emotionally distant for months, Liam. Then you took her on our anniversary trip. I don't know how you define a mistake, but that's not something I can just forgive." He glanced around the restaurant, likely hoping that no one was listening. "Ellie, please, let's just talk about this. You can't seriously want a divorce." "I didn't want this," I replied firmly, "but you made your choice. Now I'm making mine." Liam left me with no other option. I couldn't accept being a second choice in my own marriage. That evening, he tried to reach me repeatedly, but I was done with the conversation. He had made his choice, and I was firm in mine. I called my best friend, who quickly arrived with wine and ice cream, and we spent the night dissecting every moment of the confrontation. By the time Liam returned, I had already locked the bedroom door and drifted off to sleep. I heard him pacing outside, debating whether to knock, but he never did. I think he realised it was too late for that. Since then, the atmosphere at home has been incredibly tense. Liam is still living in the house, but our interactions are minimal. He keeps attempting to apologise, insisting he made a mistake and doesn't want to lose me. But I'm not sure I can even muster the energy to care anymore. It's been 3 weeks since I gave Liam the divorce papers at the restaurant. Part of me feels empowered, having taken control of my life again. But another part of me is crushed by how quickly everything has fallen apart. Liam has been trying to act as if nothing significant had happened, which only makes living together more strained and awkward. Our conversations, when they occur, are fraught with tension. He oscillates between apologising and attempting to guilt me into taking him back, and sulking like a child when I remain unmoved. I've stood my ground, making it clear that divorce is what I want, though I don't think he's fully accepted it yet. My lawyer and I met again to initiate the official proceedings. We discussed how to divide our assets, which is complex. Thankfully, we don't have children, but there's still the house, 2 cars, and our joint savings to consider. Liam has been dragging his feet, still insisting we can resolve things without lawyers. During a review of our financial accounts, I discovered several unusual withdrawals and expenses I didn't recognise. It turns out Liam had been funding Olivia's lifestyle, dinners, trips, even her apartment rent, while insisting they were just friends. I was furious upon discovering this, but it only confirmed my suspicions. Liam has since tried to win me back with flowers, love letters, and promises to be a better husband, which would almost be comical if it weren't so painful. A few days ago, he tearfully told me he had cut off all contact with Olivia, claiming she meant nothing, and that he only realised his love for me after I confronted him. It was the first time I'd ever seen him cry. It was difficult not to feel something in that moment, but the deep-seated betrayal was too much to overlook. It's not just about Olivia. It's about the months of neglect, the lies, the feeling of being invisible in my own marriage. I told him I couldn't forgive him and that I still wanted the divorce. He looked devastated, but I had to stand my ground. He suggested counselling, but I feel like we are beyond the point of repair. The fallout has extended beyond just us. Our families are now involved, and it's been chaotic. My parents, who were already displeased with how distant Liam had become over the past year, are furious with him. This entire ordeal has strained relationships on all sides, further complicating an already difficult situation. The situation has gotten significantly more intense. My mom has been constantly checking in on me to ensure I'm okay, and she has made it clear to Liam that he is no longer welcome at family gatherings. While her reaction was more extreme than I anticipated, her unwavering support means a lot to me. On the other hand, Liam's family presents a different challenge. His mother called me last week, pleading for me to reconsider. She argued that all marriages face difficult times and suggested that we just need to work through our issues. She even insinuated that I was overreacting, which took me by surprise. I firmly told her that if she felt compelled to take sides, she should support her son, but I refused to be guilt-tripped into staying in a marriage that was beyond repair. Amidst all this, the drama involving Olivia has become the talk of Liam S. law firm. Colleagues who I've met at social events over the years have been reaching out, expressing their shock and offering their sympathy. It seems Olivia isn't well liked at the office. There are whispers that she's been overly familiar with other male co-workers before, and now the gossip about her and Liam is rampant. Since the news broke, I've heard that she's been laying low and avoiding the office. From what I gather, things between Olivia and Liam have cooled down significantly since the divorce papers were served. He seems to be keeping his distance, perhaps realising the chaos he's caused. There hasn't been a dramatic end to their relationship, but it's clear that Liam is conflicted about how to proceed. I've started looking for a new place to live. Staying in our house, surrounded by memories of happier times, feels suffocating. Every room reminds me of what once was, and now serves as a monument to deception and broken promises. Meanwhile, Liam appears to be unravelling. He still goes to work, but seems like a shell of his former self. His friends have mentioned that he's become distant and distracted, and there's talk that his work performance is suffering. While I find no joy in his struggles, it's evident that living a double life is catching up with him. The fallout from his affair with Olivia has been significant, and it seems he's beginning to understand the cost. But for me, it's too late. Liam has attempted to engage me in conversation a few more times, but I've stood firm. I deserve better than what he's offered. 2 months have passed since I served Liam with the divorce papers, and the process has only grown more complex. I hoped for a straightforward division of our assets since we have no children, but Liam has complicated every step. After his attempts to reconcile failed, he began contesting nearly everything, from the house and cars to our joint savings. His lawyer has been particularly difficult, pushing back on every agreement, making clear that navigating this divorce won't be easy for either of us. Liam and his legal team are fiercely contesting the divorce, trying to limit what I receive. The most frustrating part is how Liam portrays me as the unreasonable one. He's even suggested that if I drop the case, we could start anew and work through our issues. He doesn't seem to grasp that we're well beyond the point of reconciliation. What really infuriated me was his claim that he should keep the house because he's the primary breadwinner, completely disregarding the financial contributions I made while I was working and the sacrifices I made for our marriage. His sense of entitlement is astounding. Fortunately, my lawyer has been outstanding. She's compiled evidence of Liam's infidelity, which we're using in the divorce proceedings to argue for a fair division of assets. We've also discovered that Liam has been funneling money into a secret account supposedly for work expenses, and we're investigating that as well. Mediation has been fruitless. Liam still holds on to the hope that I'll back down, but I refuse to be intimidated out of what I rightfully deserve. Each meeting feels like a battleground, and I can see the frustration on his face when he realises I'm not relenting. Meanwhile, the scandal of his affair has permeated his law firm, creating significant tension. Mutual friends have told me that his colleagues are questioning his judgment, especially given Olivia's reputation for inappropriate behaviour with male co-workers. His superiors are concerned too, as the clients have started to wonder if his personal life is impacting his professional capabilities. There are even whispers that his job might be at risk if things deteriorate further. It's ironic. He risked his marriage for his affair with Olivia, and now he might lose his career as well. As for Olivia, she's left the firm after the gossip became too much, transferring to another company to escape the fallout. It seems her relationship with Liam hasn't turned out to be the fairy tale he imagined. Amid all this chaos, I've been focusing on rebuilding my life. I moved out of our home a month ago into a small apartment in the city. It's been an adjustment living on my own, but it's also been liberating. I no longer feel like I'm constantly on edge, and this new space has allowed me to focus on myself for the first time in a long while. However, the emotional journey hasn't been entirely smooth. Some days I still find myself overwhelmed by the betrayal, breaking down unexpectedly. I've been seeing a therapist, journaling, and relying on my friends, but the healing process has been tougher than anticipated. Recently, Liam's family reached out again after a long silence. His mother, polite yet clearly struggling, asked if I would consider speaking to Liam one last time to give him some closure. I was torn between feeling sympathy for her and anger that she would ask this of me after everything her son put me through. I didn't know how to respond. Part of me felt pity, but another part was furious at the audacity of her request, given the pain I've endured.